Hi everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to start building an animal out of clay. Now we're going to make a cute little guy just like this, about this size. And so you're going to start with about a baseball sized piece of clay, and we're going to make two pinch pots. You can see I've already gone ahead and made one right here. And so we're going to start with a ball of clay, and you're just going to stick your thumb right in the middle of it. Alright, and then you're just going to turn and pinch and turn and pinch. As you work with the clay, do be sure that you keep all your walls nice and even. A lot of times there's a tendency for this part, the corner part, to be thick. So make sure you get down there and even that out. Now, about thickness. We should keep our walls at about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch thick. So if you're not quite sure what that means, that's usually the pinky thumb rule. It should be no thicker than your thumb, but no thinner than your pinky. So I usually shoot for my index finger, but for those of you with tiny pinkies and bigger thumbs, you might need to stick with just a 1/2 inch and 1/4 of an inch. So you can see I've got this pinched out pretty well. Now, depending on the shape of your animal, you're going to want to change the shape of your pinch pot. So for example, if you're making something like a fish, which has a long, skinny body, you're going to want your pinch pots to be more of a dish rather than a bowl. But if you're doing a chubby little bear like mine, you want the bowl. All right, so we have two pinch pots, and we're going to go ahead and score both sides really, really well. So I'm using my handy dandy needle tool. I'm really tearing up that clay. Make sure you get in there. Really tear it up. Right? Just like this. Now we don't want our clay to get too wet here. So for the next step, I'm only going to spray water on one side of my pinch pot. Alright, so I'm going to spray water on the side that's in my hand. Just a little bit will do. And then I'm going to squish them together, just like that, until I start seeing some of the water ooze out. And then I'm going to use my thumb to go ahead and compress that joint. You want to smear the clay so that the line is no longer visible. Right, so you can see I compress and turn, compress and turn. Alright. And there we go. Now it's kind of a lumpy, weird ball, so what we're going to do is we're going to roll it a little bit. And what's happening now is you've sealed air inside of your two pinch pots. So it's like a little clay balloon, which is pretty cool. And we're going to use the air to support the clay from the inside. And that's going to give the clay enough support that we can kind of roll it around to get a good round shape. I'm kind of getting rid of a bunch of those finger marks from my pinch pot. So we have a nice round piece. Now, anytime you see the clay separating, just make sure you go back and compress it really well. If you're having trouble with maybe the clay being, having like some divots or low spots in it, it's okay to take just a little bit of really fresh clay and rub it right in. Remember, just be gentle. All right? So there we go. We have our big start. Now, the next part is going to be a little tricky, and it's another judgment call that you're going to have to make, right? If your animal's like mine, where, you know, bears have pretty thick necks. They're not all that different from their heads and their bodies. So I'm going to be able just to pinch my head right out of my little clay balloon here. But if you have an animal that needs a longer neck, like maybe a flamingo, all right, that's going to be something you're going to have to make and add on separately. So I'm going to go ahead and just, you can see I'm holding it, and I'm with my hands just like this, all right, and I'm going to start pinching in. And so I'm about 1/3 of the way down from the top. You can see where I've started to make my little divot mark, right, and I'm just going to turn it and pinch it in. All right, and this is how I know where my head's going to be. And so you can now, I'm making a pretty chubby bear, but I think that's okay. Chubby bears are kind of cute. All right, And so I'm just making sure I keep the head shape nice and round. All right, and so now it kind of looks like maybe like a funny snowman or something like that. But this is a good place to start.